forms are another common type of pattern where you've got two different systems within a larger landscape, and the edge between those systems often creates a cloud form pattern. So it may be that you've got a grassland system, so your typical New Zealand grazing system, and in nature that system would be more of a woodland, so you'd have different herbs and grasses within the grassed area, and then interspersed amongst that you'd have these groups of trees, and these groups of trees would often create a cloud-like form, and you'd get them kind of interspersed within that landscape. So these would be trees, and this would be your grass system. Another application may be the edge between, say, a pond and the surrounding landscape. So in nature that wouldn't be a square or any kind of particular shape. It would have this kind of cloud form, irregular surface edge, which helps to increase the surface area of that pond where the productivity is going to be highest. And it just kind of molds and evens out those contours in a way that matches the different elements of that landscape. So you've got pond here and the surrounding landscape. So it's really a way of shaping two elements that are juxtaposed or aligned next to each other. Obviously the common one is the clouds themselves. So in a cloud system you've got areas of the atmosphere that have got a higher concentration of water in those parts of the atmosphere, and the water's condensing to form these clouds, and it's cooling and it's becoming denser, and it creates an area of the atmosphere that's different to the surrounding area of the atmosphere, and the edges of it form this irregular, curvy, cloud-like form. So in clouds you get the same pattern emerging, where you've got two different elements within a system, this time the atmosphere, and the edge between those two elements creates this cloud-like pattern. So in making use of the cloud pattern in a permaculture landscape, you've got to think about what are the interacting elements and how can you pattern the edge between those elements in a way that smooths those edges and increases the productivity by increasing the surface area between those two edges. And in an area that you're likely to go onto, it's often been patterned in a way that's quite rectangular, so it's not a pattern that you would see in nature. It has quite sharp, distinct edges, but you can smooth off those edges and create a cloud-like form that helps increase the surface area of the element within that shape, but also smooth off the boundaries and create more natural forms within this more uniform, rigid, rectangular shape. So this may be incorporated into shelter belts, so you may thicken these out and have privacy screening or shelter belts around the edge of your property, and then within that property there'll be different zones, and those zones themselves may be patterned. So if you've got a driveway coming into your property, there might be an irregular cloud-like zone 1, and then an irregular zone 2, and then this may be the zone 3 there, and within each zone there may be a pond here, for example, that has this cloud-like shape around the edge of it. There may be groups of trees in here, and there may be a grazing system in here that the grazers move between. So you can incorporate this cloud-like pattern as a way of kind of harmonizing the edge between two systems and removing the harsh edges from that, and creating a pattern that more replicates what happens in nature. And by so doing, you're increasing the surface area of the edge, you're therefore increasing the productivity of that system, and you're creating a more natural edge that is going to require less maintenance because it's adopting a more